MultiVersus went into open beta and became Warner Bros.' most popular game on Steam. And this is free-to-play crossover fighting game in the vein of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a reason for this. Yes, almost 24 recognizable characters from many of the beloved franchises that are owned by Warner Bros. Are available in OBT. Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Shaggy and Velma from the Scooby-Doo, Arya Stark from the Game of Thrones, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, and even famous basketball player LeBron James. Few people refuse to play for these and other famous heroes. Their voices are ruled by the voices of the same actors that we hear in the original cartoons in the TV shows. Whereas can you see the Tom and Jerry kicking Harley Quinn pretty ass instead of carrot-eating Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes Versus Tess battling Adventure Time's Finn and Jake the dog. At the same time, there are no previously announced Rick Sanchez and Morty in the beta. You know where they will be added later. And of course, we are waiting for the appearance of the Joker, Robin, Catwoman and others. The scope here is almost endless. But right now there is a new original character, Dear Dog, who according to the description is the fluffy guardian of the royal family of the Nifra and the sixth owner of crystals with magical powers. Some players were not exactly unhappy, but perplexed by the appearance of such character. Although in general he turned out to be quite funny and interesting in terms of his abilities. In general, the word funny is a good description of MultiVersus. Tom shoots at enemies with a mouse Jerry from a silk shot or use him as a bait on fishing rod. Harley Quinn launches Batman as a flash bomb, Dog Jake and Tess swallows opponents, while Jake can still turn into a horse and ride a skateboard. Shaggy beats opponents with a sandwich, Bugs Bunny set up exploding safes, digs stones and jumps in them, and Bloons kisses that charm and disrupts enemies. How and why LeBron James used a basketball you can also imagine. During the battles in the arenas, madness is happening. In addition to the heroes mutating each other, something constantly falls, explodes, like for example devils in snuff boxes scattered by Harley Quinn. Rockets rush back and forth. The characters themselves also fly, crash into walls, break through them, platforms appear and disappear, or the floor suddenly collapses. Many items can be picked up and thrown at enemies. The arenas themselves are also of course recognizable. After all, it's fun to fight in the Batcave or a Finn and Jake's house. It is clear that the authors of MultiVersus took the gameplay of Super Smash Bros. As a basis. There we also see a lot of heroes from different franchises who are fun and crazy beating each other. Even the task is the same, now to beat opponents half to death, but to throw them out of the arena, and instead of the amount of health, the counter of the receiver's damage. The higher you see it, the more likely is to throw out the enemy. Although he even once outside the arena can control the fight in order to jump and drag back. At first glance, it seems that the conversation with SSB is not in favor of MultiVersus, at least in quantitative terms. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for 100 characters, here so far 17. In addition, for the usual models, the game from Nintendo has a campaign, and up to 8 players can fight in one arena. While MultiVersus is designed for a maximum of 4, they can fight each for themselves and against each other. Divide into pairs of 4 of them fight with bots, plus duels 1-to-1, training mode. But the story campaign is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is not the best, and limiting the maximum number of players to 4 seems justified. Given that it's already hard to figure out what's happening on screen at first, it can't imagine what the battles would turn into if there were at twice as many participants. On the plus side, we also write down the fact that players thrown out of the arena do not drop out until the end of the round. To win it, you need to drop opponents 4 times. That is, you immediately return to the game and get a chance to wake up. Hence the special adrenaline when losing 0-3, you take 4 points in a row and snatch victory. At the same time, MultiVersus, despite all the madness and fun, is quite a serious fighting game. All characters are divided into 4 classes: fast but weak in defense, killers, magians, large bouncers, and tanks. And on two fights, it is important to correctly combine these classes. But it's not enough just to pay the killer Harlequin with the bouncer garnered of sound quality healthy. It is also important to take into account the combination of skills that open up as the characters develop. They are divided into attacks, defensive, and universal. Plus Chrome is ultimatable. Some skills provide passive bonuses when certain conditions are triggered, such as increasing invulnerability by 10% when dodging, or reduce the cooldown of an ability when hitting enemies with debuffs. Ults acts more visually and as a rule are also automatically activated. For example, Superman's Fury Returns trigger upon landing after a jump attack, inflation and ignite effect on opponents and forming a wall of fire on the ground. And Jake is able to stretch, and the enemies that touch him in this state are stunned, which makes them vulnerable to his buns. Don't even ask. From the 9th level, the opportunity opens up to train and receive any skills for the money earned. So it is important to correctly combine the effects. What's more, when you reach the right level, you can choose the same abilities as your teammate, and this sums up the effects. And it talks about the fact that all these measures increase of 4 or 5 do not really give anything. Immediately becomes quitter. Bonuses can be strange and made more tangible. Well, in general, there are many things to consider in MultiVersus. Attacks are not divided into ordinary and powerful ones. They are neutral, with movements to the side, up or down, and often each option is still different depending on whatever the attack is carried out on the ground or in the air. It's same with specials, and all these embryons adds in a combo, giving a bunch of kinds of effects and modifiers, in addition to the usual things: ice, ignition, acceleration, knockback, invisibility, rage, deceleration, and so on. There are also unusual ones. So if you put confetti on the victim, then the effect of modifiers on it will be constantly summed up, and when the maximum is reached, the enemy will be set on fire. Some actions enclose the enemy in a bubble. He is invulnerable then, but at the same time he turns off and is inactive, and can only get out with the help of an ally. Cooking completely turns the enemy into a kitchen, which can only kill and run. All this open a quite wide tactical possibilities, and in the end, the initial confusion from the chaos and madness that is happening on the screen gives way to true actions. When already experienced players converge, the battles can turn into protracted but at the same time exciting confrontation, where it is important to use, if not at all, that many mechanics opportunities, and also take into account the adventures of your character and ally. Yes, it is the 2-on-2 confrontation that is now positioned as the main one. Randomly selected users can immediately be called as friends, and when playing with them, a bonus is given to the accumulation of experience and gold. Understanding this set of skills, techniques, modifiers, and so on, it's not so easy. Some description are worth it. The reach modifier grants a speed boost on the stack and armor penetration while making melee attacks on 2 stacks. The retaliation skill allows your team to give allies free grey health for 3 seconds after knocking back enemies when hit by a projectile. What called? However, what is a grey health and summation you will be told by the built-in reference book on all terms. And there is also a laboratory where you can endlessly train, choosing any hero or heroes as opponents. Moreover, the latter can be in the role of the ever peer, or you are free to allow them to fight back by choosing the level of their resistance. There are a lot of pointing things. Finally, there are regular and advanced training, which allow you to practice techniques and action over and over again. Yes, this is a shareware game with all the consequences. There is notorious battle pass, which can be both regular and paid, as well as a special currency, Glimium, which unlike gold can only be bought with your hand-earned money. It allows you to purchase cosmetic items, icons, stickers, emotes, stones, drop effects, etc. and points to upgrade your battle pass, as well as tokens to unlock new character. But at the same time, the regular battle pass, when reaching new levels, gives a lot of cosmetics and even boosters to experience, and you can upgrade it simply by completing daily and weekly tasks. And most importantly, each of the 70 heroes can be bought on not only for Glimium but also for gold, which accumulate at normal place. Yes, there is even more advanced version of each character, but there's another story. The important thing is that all heroes available today can be obtained for free. It is clear that game still not to be balances, yes, and this term of the number of characters. MultiVersus, I repeat, is much inferior to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but this is matter of life. But in general, the game is excellent, at the same time fun, crazy, deep and tactical. Highly recommend to try.